Hello, everybody. I'm Chef Ben. This is Dinner with Ben, brought to you by Ashworks Cutting Boards, Atlantic Live Stream, and Tea North Organic Carbonated Iced Tea. This is Season 2, Episode 5, and today we are cooking keto food, and I am joined by a very old friend, Max Blades. Max, thanks for coming.
You're actually older. Let's not forget that part.
Right out the gate. Perfect. Perfect. So Max and I actually went to junior high school together a very, very, very long time ago.
Yep.
Thanks for coming, Max.
My pleasure.
So
Thanks for having me.
you eat keto by choice.
Yep.
And I found out after I made the menus and posted them that Max is also allergic to nuts. And if you've read the menu, you know that the dessert is chocked full of nuts. So I'm sorry.
It's all good.
So the first thing we need to do today is we actually need to get the dessert started. So we're going to pop the oven onto 350. And we'll just let that heat up. So, hello, Sue. No picture? Sue, I get picture, I'm sorry. Hello, Sharon. Hello, Miss Juanita. Hello, everybody. Is everything okay, guys? Okay.
Someone
Cool.
can't see it?
Yeah, I guess. Okay, so everybody, I just turned my oven on to 350. You should do the same. First thing we're going to do is toast our nuts, which Max will die if he eats, and melt some chocolate. Okay, so hello, Christine. Hello, everybody. Hello, Katie. Hello. Okay, so might as well spread this stuff out. Max, I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you some parchment paper. So guys, for all of you out there, if you ever wanted to know anything about what I was like in junior high, this man would have some of that information, so feel free to ask some questions. So, we have some slivered almonds.
Cool.
We have some pecans, and we have some sesame seeds.
Cool.
So I'll just do this. I'm just gonna.
Okay.
I don't want you to die. I'm a little worried I'm gonna kill you. I'm just gonna spread these out. So you are on the keto diet just to get like ripped, or
Ripped, yeah. That's how it goes. Yeah, because we actually started before our wedding, so
Gotcha.
it was just kind of our last push a few months before our wedding to fit into those ultra slim fit tuxes. So.
I did something similar where I just stopped eating donairs for like a month.
Oh,
And
yeah?
I was
Yeah.
good. Okay, so we're gonna wait for the oven to get hot before
Yeah.
we put these in, but we can start melting our chocolate. So what I'm gonna do is get you to put some water in here, some hot water, just about a quarter of the way up the pot. You don't want too much water because you don't want it to hit the bottom of the bowl. We're making what's known as a double boiler. So in here I have 12 ounces of chocolate, and we're just gonna set this over the water, bring it to a simmer, and let the chocolate melt. Okay, so throw that on there. Yep, perfect. So we'll put it on high, let it come to a boil, and then we'll turn it down. Hello, Jody. Oh, thank you for sharing. Hello, Brenda. Hello, Bob. Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming, guys. So, Max, any funny stories of when I was in junior high?
Oh, God. I don't even know, Ben. I guess I should have thought about that in
You should have.
advance.
That was it.
It really was. No. I mean, really, I remember a lot of soccer trips and
We did.
singing about black socks.
Right.
That was,
And how they never get dirty.
yeah. And
Yeah,
I
I
feel
remember
as
that.
though you were quite often the one who initiated all the singing from the back
Probably.
of the bus.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Doesn't. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's it. That's all I got. We're done. Show's
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
Okay. So while that's doing its thing, we can start working on the chicken. So I should say what we're making, actually. We're going to do parm crisps, which is going to be like, kind of like a little snack, but we're going to do that later. We're going to do the chocolate salami, and we're going to stuff some chicken with herb and garlic Boursin cheese and wrap it in prosciutto. So I'm going to sneak by you, and I'm going to get that stuff out of the fridge here because I forgot to grab it. Some chicken breast, some parmesan, prosciutto. This is parmesan. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take these chickens and we're going to do what's called enveloping them. So we're not going to cut them all the way through. We're going to do first, I'll do one and then I'll let you do the other ones. So we have this little tender here, so we're actually going to take this off. if you've ever bought chicken tenders, like deep for like, not if you're on a keto diet probably, but breaded chicken tenders, this is what it is.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is take our knife, and we're going to lay the breast flat, and we're going to come in from this side, and we're just going to make a small incision. We don't want to cut to the bottom of the board. We don't want to cut all the way through. We want to hold the cheese in the chicken. Just like that. So you see how we open that up there?
Yep.
I'll wash my hand. So I'll let you do those other ones, and then I'll get some cheese out. So I am not an expert in the keto diet by any means.
I don't think anybody is.
No. What do you know? Like, why, other than to get in shape, like what made you decide to go on it?
So actually we went to a friend's birthday party, and a couple of our other friends that were there had started doing the keto diet, and they were just raving about it. And so it's just one of those things. I mean, it's not that you're changing the way you're eating, so you're eating different things, but it's not like you're going out of your way to, have a different lifestyle. You're just, you don't eat sugar, you don't eat these things. So it's really just a kind of a different approach, a different way of going about your meal plans, meal prepping.
And for those of you that don't know what the keto diet is, because I'm sure there's people watching who don't, it's really just no sugar, pretty much no carbs.
Yeah.
High fat, high protein.
There's different ketos. There's dirty keto, there's clean keto, there's vegan keto. There's tons of different variations of this. Some people won't eat more than 25 grams of carbs a day. Some people will go up to 60. So it just sort of depends on what keto you're doing, what you want to do, what your end result is that you want to accomplish, basically. What's
your limit? Like, what's your carb limit?
I do 25. I try.
So you're clean keto?
I'm not So I'm not super strict on it, though, because, you also do carb load days where you're actually allowed to eat carbs. So that all depends on what you're eating or what you want to. So.
The water is just simmering, so I'm just going to pop the chocolate on here. I'm going to turn the water down because if it boils, we don't want the chocolate to kind of, it'll get really grainy and gross. So we'll turn the water down and leave that. Okay, so we're going to stuff these guys. Mm-hmm. Actually, real quick, can we get a close-up on this by any chance? So if you see this little kind of red mark on your chicken here, that just is a bruise. It doesn't taste bad necessarily. It might be a little bitter. You can cut it out, but you also don't have to. We're going to leave that in. But if you're ever wondering what these red marks on your chicken are, it's a bruise. Or if you see it on pork, it just means that the chicken got bumped around in processing. Yeah. So what we're going to do, I took some of the Boursin out because we don't want to get raw chicken in the Boursin because I'm probably going to eat the rest of that later, let's be honest. Surprised it lasted 24 hours in my fridge as it is.
Yeah.
And we're just going to pop that in there, just like that. So I'll let you do the rest of those. And then we'll open up some prosciutto. It's like you know what you're doing.
Yeah, well.
He's keto before.
I really wish that you guys could see what's happening with my cat right now. She's just like chilling under the camera on a box, just being part of the show.
I got it. I'll bring it in.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? So this is semi-sweet chocolate, Helen. Helen asks what percentage the chocolate is. And I can't remember.
So if it's semi-sweet, it's probably 60.
Yeah, 60, 65, somewhere in there. Yeah. You can use bittersweet chocolate if you want, but where I'm not on a keto diet, I didn't want something that big.
Yeah, so generally anyone who is on a keto diet, they would eat like 80 or 90% cocoa, and they would have like a tiny little square once a week if they're going to eat chocolate. Jesus. Yeah, that's one of those. Chocolate is a no-no.
So this might not be the most keto dessert in the world.
Right.
Like I said, I'm not an expert. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Everything else is good. It's just the dessert.
I hope you guys liked that shot of Brenda. That was nice. I like that. Okay, so we have this prosciutto here. And we might actually need 2 per chicken breast. I know I said 4 slices. If you only have 4, that's okay. But I think we're going to use 2. So what we're going to do, just lay them flat. Just like this. And then we're just going to roll the chicken. So we want to make sure that that hole, that incision that we made, is completely covered by the prosciutto, so the cheese doesn't fall out on us. Just like that. Okay. So I'll let you do those other ones. And as always, these recipes will come out on my Facebook page tomorrow. So if you want to recreate them, you absolutely can. Although there's not much to this. It's just cutting some chicken, stuffing Boursin in it, and rolling it in prosciutto.
That's the great thing about keto is so many of the recipes are, I mean, easy. You don't really need to do a lot to eat keto.
But Max, that's what all cooking is.
Well, I know.
All cooking can be easy. This is Mike, everybody. You can see him.
See me.
Oh, never mind. I thought you could see him. I'm sorry.
Real covert.
That's the pro move right there. So guys, I know that there's some new viewers in there. Thank you for watching, first of all. If you have any questions, feel free to ask and we'll answer them as best we can. Because I can see your comments. So if you have anything to say, shout it out and I'll happily answer it. Max, do you know where the keto diet comes from?
That I couldn't tell you.
So it's actually based, it came out of the 20s or the 30s, and it was a cure for seizures. It actually helped stop seizures in people, and some people with certain types of seizures. The high-fat, low-carb diet actually helped reduce the amount of seizures in people, and that's what it was used for a long, long time. And then they realized that it actually led to pretty dramatic weight loss and better health in a lot of people. Look at that, I do know something about keto.
Look at you.
What brand of prosciutto are you using? We're using San Daniele. It's just generally what's available at the grocery store. Most of the prosciutto you buy is going to be all the same. It's really all coming from the same place. Unless it says specifically Canadian prosciutto, which is actually produced in Canada. Most prosciuttos produced in Italy. Interesting fact. Okay, so we actually, we're at a little bit of an impasse here because we got to toast our nuts, but we also got to cook our chicken. So let's sear the chicken. I'm going to pop the nuts in the oven for 6 minutes. Okay? Oh, there's a cast iron pan in there. I feel very ill prepared for this episode for some reason. I'm sorry, everybody. So our chocolate is melting. I just turned my pan onto like a medium-high heat. We're going to sear our chicken in it. And we'll put it in a dish. And we'll pop it in the oven. Okay? And we're just going to use a casserole dish. If you have a cast iron pan, you can just sear it in the pan and then pop the pan right in the oven. But we're going to do this separately. I don't know why. But we're just going to today. Because we have the GoPro set up, so we want to see more pan action, I think. And you can see, so the chocolate's starting to melt. So we'll just kind of give that a little mix. And so as soon as the chocolate melts, actually, we'll just do this now. We're going to add about 6 tablespoons of butter into there, so just all of that. So we're going to add 6 tablespoons of butter into our chocolate. And then when it's melted, we'll mix in all those nuts and we'll mix in half a cup of coffee. So if you want to give that a stir, and I'm going to make half a cup of coffee. This is going to be real loud, just a heads up, everybody. It's not that loud. I thought it'd be louder. I'm not going to answer that question. Bad, bad, bad. Okay, we have half a cup of coffee. Our chocolate is just about melted. Our butter is just about melted. I'm going to add the coffee in, and I'm going to get you to stir that as I add that in. A little more vigorously. Perfect. So Max is the general manager or just manager?
Manager.
Max is the manager at Mastermind Toys in Dartmouth Crossing,
Yeah.
which I think is pretty cool. If you've never been in Mastermind Toys, you should check it out. My wife got lost in there for about 2 hours a few weeks ago. And the idea is that it's all like kind of educational toys, right?
Yeah, educational focused, yeah. So always learning something as you're playing without even realizing that you're learning.
That sounds pretty fun.
Yeah.
Just like this, you don't know that you're learning because it seems
Exactly.
completely disheveled, but you really
Yeah.
are. I promise. I promise we're learning something here. Okay, so our pan is almost hot. I'm going to add some olive oil into it. No, it's pretty hot. And while Max is doing, mixing the chocolate, I'm going to place these chickens in here. Try, if you have a seam, like where the prosciutto kind of meets, put that down first. I'm going to do these in batches. Okay, so we can take that off the heat now. And just bring that over here. Okay, so all we want is some color on these chickens. Is she okay? See? So we have this nice color on the prosciutto, so I'll let you flip the other one there. So, Christine, what I just made was essentially, with the chocolate, is essentially like, almost like a ganache. This is, you could make this into a truffle filling if you wanted. It's pretty much the same idea. Katie asks if you could sub the coffee for anything else. You could do tea if you wanted. Or you could do cream, something like that. Or you could just keep it out altogether. You can put some rum in it, which isn't keto, right? Booze?
No.
Yeah, booze isn't keto, but
Not
if...
as straight hard liquors would be, but not so much fun.
Donna, the show will be up on Facebook as soon as we're done, so you will be able to check it out afterwards. There's a question for Max about Mastermind Toys. Do they have toys for kids with ASD? I know it is off topic for the video. That's okay.
Sorry, what's ASD?
We don't know what ASD is.
Sensory disorder?
So we can take those out and pop them in there. And we'll do the other two.
Oh. Yes, sorry. We definitely do. There's tons and tons of different toys for different senses. That's kind of what we specialize in. So whether it be for auditory learning, oral, different things, touch, feel, all that kind of stuff. There's tons and tons of different stuff. That's what we specialize in.
There you go. That's good to know.
Chicken.
I'm done. So, yeah. So I'm just going to dump these nuts. So much difficult. Yeah, it's pretty smoky here too. Our pan got a little bit hot, but that's okay. So I'm going to wash the chicken off this. So I'm going to take a second to talk about cutting boards. A lot of people, I'm going to share this information. A lot of people are concerned with wooden cutting boards and meat and chicken because they think that they can't clean it properly. Plastic cutting boards have a lot of divots in them. They get a lot of holes in them. They get a lot of like kind of little just marks, nicks, and that collects bacteria and it's impossible to clean. Wooden cutting boards are self-sealing. When you kind of put a mark in it, it'll seal back up on itself, so bacteria can't get in there. These are actually much better for you than a plastic cutting board. And Ashworks cutting boards, ashworks.ca, makes some fantastic cutting boards. Yeah. Or you can go to chefbenkelly.com and get one of these beautiful Chef Ben Kelly cutting boards as well. Also made by Ashworks. That's it. That's my rant on cutting boards. So Max just took the chicken out of there, and we're going to pop that in the oven. And because it's partially cooked, it's not like fully cooked. It's about probably 10 to 15% cooked. So it's going to go in the oven for probably about 25 to 30 minutes. Okay? So we'll go in there. And it's at 350. We'll start it at 20 minutes and check it. Okay. So we'll finish cleaning this guy up. And now we'll make some parm crisps. Parm crisps are delicious, guys. It's really smoky in here.
It is.
But we can't turn on the vents.
It's the haze filter.
Do I still look beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. That's my main concern and stuff like this. So actually, we'll mix this up first. So we just have our chocolate. So we have 12 ounces of chocolate in here. We have half a cup of coffee, 7 tablespoons of butter, half cup of slivered almonds, half cup of chopped pecans, and a half cup of sunflower seeds. And we'll mix this up, and then we're going to set it in the fridge, covered, and let it cool. I know you can't eat this, I'm sorry, but it looks really delicious. Sorry. So this is going to cool. If you're doing this not on a show that has a time limit, let it sit in the fridge for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then you can form it. We're just going to let it sit just till it's cool enough to form. And when we form it, we're going to dump it on some parchment paper, roll it into 2 logs, let it cool again. And then for those of you that aren't keto, you can roll it in icing sugar, and then it really looks like a piece of salami. So I'm going to get you to pop that in my messy fridge. Now we're going to grate some Parmesan cheese. How are you with a grater, Max? Oh, that's a lot of hesitation there. Great. We will use this. Okay. And we'll get you just to grate it right into there. And we're going to grate a lot of it. So what we're going to do here is actually lay some parchment out on a sheet pan. And we're just going to make little tiny piles of grated Parmesan, and then we're going to bake them. And they're going to get nice and crispy and delicious. And it's like a nice alternative to a chip, especially if you're on a keto diet, high fat, high deliciousness.
High deliciousness.
This is going to take a little while. I can't find my big grater. I don't know where it went. So Max and I went to a school called Pugwash District High School that had, how many kids did it have? Like 300?
325.
And it was from grade 7 to grade 12. So it was not a very big school. And it was in the middle of nowhere. How long have I been a chef? I've been a chef for almost 20, well, I've been a cook for almost 20 years. I've been a chef for 5 of those years, I guess. And yes, there's a difference. Hi, Kathy. What else do we have here? And thank you, Chrissy. I'm glad you like the videos. I really appreciate that. Christine, my cat, is not bored. She's very much enjoying everybody being here, and she's just chilling out.
She likes stuff.
And her name is Brenda. Thank you very much. It's true. Her name's Brenda.
She's the best.
So we're gonna make quite a few of these guys. So if you get a few chunks in there, it's not the end of the world because they'll melt down too. Oh,
Sorry,
man!
Sorry, Ben.
Oh my god! Max is making a mess in my kitchen. It's unacceptable.
That's what cooking's all about.
Actually, it's not. That's a common misconception. It's actually about kind of trying to work clean. But many people think that. If you make a mess, it is not the end of the world. That's for sure. I mean, you have to clean it up, but that's okay. Any questions? Well, we're grating parm. This is good. We're going to be here for like 45 minutes, guys. This is going to take a while. So, I asked you this before and you didn't have an answer, but what's your favorite toy of Mastermind Toys?
That's you know, we have 10,000 toys in the store.
That's a lot of toys.
It's a lot of toys. That's why your wife was there for 2 hours.
You have 10,000 toys?
10,000. I mean, you can walk into one section and there's 200 toys just in that section.
That's a lot of toys.
That's a lot of parm.
Actually, yeah, that's good. That's enough parm.
Yeah.
Good call, Mike. So let's set this aside. And you said that you have to take a lot of toys home, eh?
Yeah.
Or you're not supposed to say that on the air. Max said he has a house full of toys. And so when people go in, they can actually like, kind of play with the toys.
That's what we say when a kid walks in. When we say, "Are you ready to play with toys?" It's not about just looking at toys in the package. You have to know if you play with it when you get home.
That's true. Careful, this is a hot pan. So that's a really good point. What can you suggest for sensory toys for a 5-year-old?
It would depend on which sense. That's the kind of questions we would ask to see what it is you're looking for. So if you need something for, if you want it to be auditory or if you want it to be feel, touch, there's tons of different types. So it really depends on which sense you're looking to stimulate. Really.
So if you narrow that down, we can give you some more information. Chrissy, I stuffed the chicken with herb and garlic Boursin cheese. The best. The best. And actually, as a side note, tomorrow on the podcast, I'm doing a brief history of cheese, if anybody's interested in that. Food and 5, wherever you find podcasts. So we're just going to take little piles of Parmesan here, about 2 tablespoons. We're going to put them about half an inch apart. Just like that, perfect. A little tighter. And if they melt together, not the end of the world, just get a big chip. One big chip. And these are really quick, they're very delicious. And even if you're not on a keto diet, this is really great. You can make these and then break them over pasta. It's a nice kind of change to just having fresh grated parm. Adds a little crunch. Might as well finish this up. Okay. And now we're going to actually grate a little pepper in here too. And you can put some herbs in here if you wanted. I actually used to do these with duck skin in them. Chopped up crispy duck skin. They were real good. And we'll pop this in the oven on top of my cast iron pans that are in there for some reason. And those are going to go in there for 7 to 8 minutes. You can cook them on 400 degrees, but because we have the chicken in the oven, I want the temperature a little lower. Okay. Next step, we need to make some pesto. You said you can eat pine nuts,
Yep.
right? Okay,
Yep.
cool. So we're going to do the pesto the old-fashioned way in a mortar and pestle. You can do this at home in a blender or a food processor, whatever you want. We're going to do it this way because it looks way cooler. So what we're going to do first is actually I'm going to get you to chop up a nice big handful of basil. So about half a cup of basil leaves. So you just chop those. I'll grab some garlic. So if you're doing this at home, you can do big batches of it. But if you're going to do big batches, blanch the basil first. So drop it in boiling water for about 5 to 10 seconds and then in ice water. And that'll prevent it from going black over time. So when it goes black, it's not going to hurt it. It's just oxidization. It just doesn't look very nice. It'll still taste fine. Yeah, that's good there. So we can just drop that right in there. Perfect. It can. Yeah, Parmesan can melt just like any other cheese. And once it comes out, it gets nice and crispy. So I'm going to chop up some garlic too. Whoa! Oh no, that was right. Sorry. Sorry. I got a little over excited there.
Good.
So, what I'll say is we'll just take, there's 2 cloves here, and if you actually just take the knife and just give it a little crush, and then the skin just comes right off. See, I told you you'd learn something.
Yeah, every day.
And then just a rough chop on that's fine. Beautiful. I'll throw that in here too. I lost my pine nuts.
Okay.
Pine nuts over here, perfect. So you can toast these. I'm gonna leave them raw because I want that flavor. If you toast them, it's just gonna be a little sweeter. And we're gonna add some olive oil in here. So we have about half a cup of basil leaves chopped up. So it's about a 1/4 cup. We have 2 cloves of garlic chopped. We have about 2 tablespoons of pine nuts. We're gonna add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm going to get you to grate a little bit of parm in there, about a tablespoon. I'm going to add just a nice big pinch of salt. This already smells amazing. I love the smell of fresh basil. Yep, perfect. This guy, Max, has some mad chopping skills. See? There you go.
I was gonna say, did you teach him first or what?
A little bit. Just a little bit. He's good. He knew. Okay, so I'm going to get you to mash this up. So, we'll just mash it up. My sister told me that she was upset with how often I have to do knife demos, so I actually showed Max, sorry, I was looking at Mike when I said that. I showed Max a little bit before the show, but not enough that he was that good. He brought his own skills, I can tell you that. Hello, Christine. So many people. Beautiful. So again, you can do this in a blender or a food processor, but this is like the old school method to do it. And I have the mortar and pestle, and I don't get to use it very much. So that's why we're doing it this way. Beautiful. Show the people. It looks gorgeous. It's not done yet, but it looks gorgeous. All right, keep going. Hi, Cat. Everything's coming together, guys. It's all coming together. Except Max kind of burnt my pan a little bit.
Yeah.
It's okay. So I'm only washing this because we actually need it for the veg. But that's alright. How's that look? Have you ever made pesto before?
Nope.
Do you like pesto? That's not very convincing.
I don't avoid pesto, but I've never made my own.
So I will say this: I didn't like pesto until I started making it myself, because like the store-bought stuff is pretty terrible. It has a bunch of like preservatives and a lot of citric acid in it to prevent it from going brown, which adds a not so great flavor. Max, I'd say that looks good.
Fresh pesto is amazing.
Yeah, fresh pesto is amazing. So if you look, so you see how it's kind of creamy looking? So that's an emulsification. That's the oil emulsifying with the garlic, and that's what we want. It's perfect. Hello, Suze. So I'm going to check on our parm, which I don't think is done yet. Now, they need another couple of minutes, but you can see how much they've melted there, and they're going to be real good. So we'll pop these back in. And our chicken is still pretty raw. So we don't want to cook the zucchini yet, but we can get it ready. So all we're going to do with this, set this stuff aside. So we're just going to take this off, and then we're going to use vegetable peel. Oh, look at this. You got everything. And we're just going to take nice big strips of zucchini. Just like that, all the way down. Okay, so I'll get you to do that. And these are nice and thin. These are going to cook up like little ribbons, kind of like a pappardelle, which is like a thick cut pasta. And all we're going to do is saute that with some blistered cherry tomatoes and our pesto. And it's going to be real tasty, especially with the Boursin. Christine asks if you can sub anything for the pine nuts or if you can just get rid of it. You don't have to use pine nuts at all. You don't have to use any nuts. But you could also use almonds. You could use walnuts, anything like that. But you don't have to use them. I will say that pine nuts are obviously very, very expensive. But if you go to the bulk section, you can just buy the 2 tablespoons you need. You don't need to buy a lot of them, which makes it's like 87 cents or something like that. It makes it much more affordable than buying a big bag of them. But if you just don't like them or you can't eat them, you don't have to use them. And actually, pesto without pine nuts, you know what that's called, Max? Max doesn't know. It's called pesto. Is pesto without nuts in it.
2 things.
You're learning so much.
Today, Ben.
I should work in Mastermind Toys.
You're a mastermind.
I am a mastermind. Hopefully in a good way. This is beautiful. So, see, we have these gorgeous ribbons of zucchini, and these aren't going to take long to cook. We just need to saute them really quickly, and they'll be perfect. So what you can do, once you get to this point, and that becomes really hard to peel, is just turn it around, and then just get smaller strips. And that'll make life much easier. While you're doing that, I'm going to check the chocolate. Just starting to set. Dude, so it's starting to thicken up. It needs some more time. To speed this up, I'm actually going to put this in an ice bath really quickly. You don't have to do this at home. I just want it to be a little quicker. Maybe.
Magic of TV.
Yeah. There. Everything is hiding on me. If you ever want something really cold, put a little salt in some ice water. It'll actually drop the temperature a little bit because ice water freezes at a lower temperature than regular water. Did you know that, Max? Who's the mastermind now? Yeah, it's still me. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I just want to cool this down so that we can roll it, and it's not going to take long in the ice bath. Look at all this. So we got all the zucchini from one zucchini, and it's going to cook down a bit, so I'm actually going to get you to do a little bit more. I know that you only have one zucchini. If you're cooking at home, that's fine, but I have a lot of mouths to feed here. There's a lot of people in the back you can't see. What?
Where did the zucchini come from?
Oh, it's hidden. I have zucchini hidden all over this place, Mark. When I was a kid, you may have experienced this too, like the garden zucchinis that are like this big.
Yeah.
And my mom would try and find all these things to do with the zucchini. So we had like zucchini relish, zucchini chocolate cake, like everything that we ate for like months had zucchini in it. So I hated zucchini for a very long time, but it's actually pretty delicious.
You can make a nice zucchini loaf, right? Like banana bread?
Yep. Yeah, you can. I don't know if you heard that. Mike said you can make zucchini loaf like a banana bread. It's true. Very delicious. Lots of stuff. Zucchini relish is amazing, actually. I'm just watching, man, making sure your technique's good.
It looks
okay.
nice when you slice it like that.
We should get like some slow-mo, like chef's table shots in here. You guys can do that, right?
Sure.
Sweet. Okay, I'd say that's enough there. Perfect. So let's check our parm again. Because I'd say that should probably be just about done. Maybe another minute or so. So you want them to be kind of golden brown. They're not going to be crispy when you first take them out of the oven. They have to cool first. But if you can see in here where it still looks a little bit kind of gummy, we want that to cook a little bit more. Have you ever made these before?
Yeah.
Am I doing it right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I have made these before, actually. So those are still pretty soft. And I don't know if you can see that, but they're very, very springy. You want to touch those? They're hot. See if you feel how springy that is.
Yeah.
And if you touch down by kind of the smaller parts, it's a little firmer. So that's kind of the texture we want all the way through. But because these are stuffed, they're not going to have that same feeling as like a fully cooked chicken breast. That's why we have to poke them in a few different places. These only need about another 10 minutes. Okay. So that's, I find the huge zucchinis don't have as much flavor, just my imagination. No, usually anything that gets that big, it kind of loses some of the nuance in the flavors of it. Yeah, I agree with you. I think the giant ones are pretty gross.
Yeah.
They get tough too. They can be very tough
For sure.
and a little bitter. So you are not wrong, Helen. You are not wrong. Okay, we are at a standstill. So Max, tell me a story.
Oh my goodness. Story.
Junior high school.
Sure,
Oh man.
if you have any.
I don't even know. I'm blanking right now. I'm blanking. It's all those sports concussions. Wear helmets, kids.
Yes, wear helmets.
I don't know. I got nothing.
Fantastic. Does anybody have any questions? That's going to take a second for them to see that. So, as you can see, this is starting to thicken up, especially on the bottom there. When did you move to Halifax, Max?
2006.
Oh, okay. So a long time ago.
Long time ago. Yeah. Long time ago.
Okay, let's get this cleaned up. Since you made a giant mess over here. So,
It's different when you're in someone else's kitchen.
you could just make a mess and leave. It's okay. I get it. I get it. Okay. So, this stuff isn't quite cool enough yet. Yeah, it's not cool enough yet. If I try and roll that, it's just gonna squirt out everywhere. So we'll leave that. What's up, Ruby? That's not a question. What's the name of you site? I have a couple sites. I have chefbenkelly.com, which is where you can book me for dinners or cooking classes or whatever, or where you can buy the beautiful cutting board or these fancy Chef Ben magnets that have a fantastic recipe for vinaigrette and some temperatures for cooking different proteins. I also have my blog, which is howtonotburnshit.com, which is where you can find all the really fantastic blog articles that I write 3 times a week. Those are my websites. That's it. So I only have the 2. Just dead air for a few minutes, I guess. So you've worked at Mastermind Toys since they opened.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. It's a good time. It's a great company, Canadian company.
Is it really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So we've got 66 stores across Canada now. This time 2 years ago we had 51. So just rapidly growing across Canada. Opening new stores last year. We opened 12 stores. Just more stores popping up all over the place all the time.
Is it just Canada, or do they have them international as well?
Just Canada. Only in Canada.
Very cool.
Founded in Toronto by a couple of brothers who just wanted to do something different, and it's just continued to grow from whatever customers are looking for at the time.
So do you guys actually like make the toys?
No.
Or you just find different suppliers? And
Yeah, but our buyers travel around the world looking for the best worldwide trends. It's not only what's happening in Canada or North America, it's what's happening around the world. Is there a good quality toy?
Is there? What's the good?
Oh yeah.
Feel and touch toys, functional play.
Yeah.
What would you recommend?
I mean, there's tons and tons and tons. I think you said it was for an 8-year-old, so there's different things. There's like Play Like I Play, which would sort of be the mimicking stage that they would be in right then. So just different things where they could be just like twisting things that are going to make sound, pulling, popping things that are going to make different noises. 5. Okay, so it still sort of works the same with the plays I play. That sort of goes from like the 5 to 8, 9 age. So there could just be different things where they might be looking for it to make sound, and as it's making a sound, you're feeling like a popping or a crunching or a crinkling, different kinds of things. So there's tons and tons of different things. It just sort of depends. I mean, you can then also apply it to interests. So do you want it to be something that's musical that will make a different sound when you're getting that feeling out of it? It could also be making a sound.
Like a bop it?
Yeah, which don't exist anymore. but
What?
Yeah.
Boppets don't exist anymore?
Well, it's changed now. It's a stick. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Quit while you're ahead, Ben.
We're getting older, Ben. It's happening.
That was a very good answer, Max. So I'm interested in what type of knives you have. Max, what type of knives do you have?
Me?
Yeah,
Sentoku.
the Japanese knives.
Yeah.
Boo! I use French knives. This is actually a Groman. These are made in Pictou County, and they're very nice knives. I also, yeah, that's pretty much the knife that I use all the time. Is this guy here? So they're Gromans, local.
Solid choice.
Opposed to Japanese knives over here. I prefer French. I don't actually like the Japanese styles, but that's just personal preference. I know a lot of chefs who swear by Japanese knives. He likes the sounds, but not loud sounds, more on stimulating ones as well. Still can't hear you very well,
Oh, jeez.
apparently. So he likes sounds, but not too loud.
So I will tell you, if he doesn't like loud sounds, just avoid the rubber chicken, which is actually kind of a joke, but we sell tons of them, having rubber chickens in a toy store.
Like standard old school rubber chickens?
Yeah.
So you still have those,
Except
but
they
you
glow
can't
in
get
the
a bop
dark.
it.
No, they glow in the
Let's
dark
see.
now, right? So
Oh.
they've come along with the times.
That's pretty cool.
Can't hear anymore at all.
We lost sound?
They've come along with the times.
I hear you guys fine.
We've got sound.
Can't hear anymore at all.
We lost sound? I don't know, guys. We can hear it on our end.
Sounds good to us.
Apparently it's better.
All right.
Hi, Steve. Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened there. Okay, so we have our mix for our chocolate salami. Again, it is 12 ounces of chocolate, 7 tablespoons of butter, half a cup of coffee, half a cup of pecans, half a cup of sunflower seeds. I had to look. I thought I could do it. I had to look. Half a cup of sunflower seeds, and half a cup of almonds or pecans. I can't remember which one I said. And I'm just going to plop this down in the center here, just half of it, and then we'll do the other half. Just like this. Looks just like chunky chocolate. That's what it is. You can put some orange. You can put some orange zest in here too if you wanted. But I don't actually like orange in chocolate.
Even less keto.
It would make it less keto, and I do not. Yes, there is coffee in it. I don't like orange and chocolate together. Terry's chocolate orange. Boo.
There's chocolate raspberry.
I didn't know that they existed.
Oh yeah, there's like 9 different kinds.
Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of pull this back. This is still pretty loose, but it's okay. I'm just gonna make a nice little log with this. And Max, we're gonna get to pop this in my freezer, please. And then we'll do another one. You don't have to put it in your freezer, but I want to be able to show you this before we end. So that's why I'm putting it in the freezer. And then we'll do the other one. We need to hold that for a sec. And we'll scoop this chocolate out of here. Pretty stuck in there, but that's okay. I'm gonna enjoy cleaning this bowl after everybody leaves, I'll tell you that. If my wife doesn't get to it first. Okay. You want to roll this one? Let me dab those waters out of there. Oh. Oh, that's delicious. That's real good. Wow. Guys, would you like one?
Thank you.
No video.
We froze for a sec.
We just froze for a sec. We're okay.
Go back.
Very good, right? And they will crisp up the more they cool.
Yeah.
Delicious. Okay. Let's set this aside.
That's good.
That sounded very rehearsed.
That's delicious, Ben.
Okay. I'm going to say it's just about done, but I'm actually going to go grab a thermometer just to confirm.
He keeps the thermometer in his bedroom.
Yeah. I do.
Make sure it's the right temperature there.
Okay. Max, what temperature are we looking for?
160.
What's it say on the Chef Ben magnet?
170.
See, that was seamless. That was good. 170, so we're at 170. Perfect. That one needs a little bit more. So we'll put these back in for another 2 or 3 minutes. That's okay. In the meantime, let's zucchini. So I'm gonna get you to put this pan back on. We'll go just kind of like a medium-high heat there. Hello, Anastasia. Hello, everybody. I think the technical problems are solved, guys. Sorry about that. You know, we're going high tech now. Sometimes there's issues, but that's okay. We have professionals here. They're handling it. They got us covered. And that is Atlantic Livestream. If you'd like to hire them for your event or live streaming services, you can contact them at. Do you use it? Atlantic Livestream.
Livestream.ca.
AtlanticLivestream.ca. Okay, so this is kind of the last thing we need to do here. We're going to get our pan nice and hot, and then we're going to drop our tomatoes in, and we're going to blister them. And that literally sounds exactly like what it is. So, just gotta wait till the pan heats. There's a lot of waiting in this episode. Keto is about a lot of waiting.
It is. Yeah.
It's
We
frustrating.
wait for a lot of things.
Keto.
Is there more prep time when you cook keto or what?
It just seems like there's a lot of waiting in this episode compared to other episodes. That's on me, guys. I'm sorry. Does anybody have any questions?
What is keto?
Did we already cover that? Keto is... Max, I'll let you take this one.
So it's ketosis, which is the state of your body actually burning fat for fuel instead of burning sugars. So you need to be constantly feeding your body with fats. It's actually a condition that people with diabetes tend to develop. So a lot of the ways of making sure you're staying in keto are the same things that people with diabetes have to do to manage their diabetes.
There you go. Sue, it is not Brenda's fault that things are happening. Don't ever blame Brenda again. Blistered tomatoes do sound like a good rock band, Jody. I agree with you. And keto is delicious. So, yeah, if you're actually on a keto diet, it's good, but you can't kind of eat keto if you're not on a keto diet because the high fat is going to mess you up.
Right. But again, it's not, you can't have an animal fat keto diet because that's going to fill your arteries. You've got to balance it out with natural plant-based fats.
There you go.
Avocado.
I'm learning too, guys.
Yeah,
There you go.
See?
Okay, hot pan, smoking. So we're going to carefully dump those in here. I don't want you to burn yourself. Wow!
You didn't say I can burn you.
So you see how they're already getting color on them there?
Yeah.
I'll let you toss that around for a minute. And now zucchini. And I'll give you some tongs. Stir that around. Ooh, how long does it take for ketosis to start? I don't know.
It really depends on your body. Some people, I said a little earlier about how some people will cheat. They just do a carb load day. So then the next day you just have to really make sure you're getting back into keto. So sometimes if they were normally having 25 grams of carbs, they may cut it down to 2 to 5 grams, just to quickly get themselves back into keto within a day or 2 days. Some people it can take up to a week, 10 days to get into keto, but then once you're in keto,
you'll stay there.
If you're maintaining your carb limit, you would stay in keto. But everyone's body's gonna respond differently. So.
Okay, so you can see the zucchini's kind of getting this wet look to it. So that means it's starting to cook, so we're going to dump our pesto in here. And we'll stir that around. Guys, it's almost eating time. That's the best part of the show. I like the sweetness of grape tomatoes too, Christine. I think they're delicious. Okay. Alright, so that is done. We'll take that off. I'm going to let you dish that out. And I'm going to grab that chicken out of there. So we'll need to divvy that up a little better, Max.
You made me stop on that zucchini when I was ready to keep going.
Oh, it's my fault.
Yeah.
It's always Ben's fault, I see. Yeah, there's a lot of people here. I know it doesn't seem like it, but there's the two of us. There is Mike and Nathan, who are making this look so beautiful, and then there's my wife, who's hiding away from everybody. But as soon as I say food's ready, she'll come running, I promise. Okay, that looks nice, that looks great. So, we'll move these, we'll get that chicken out. Hopefully it goes from me for a sec. Chicken. So we should let these rest for a few minutes. But I really don't want to. So do you know why we let things rest, Max?
So the juices settle into it instead of running out.
Exactly. I feel like I have nothing left to teach you.
Sorry.
God damn it. Well, I am going to cut it to them. Look at that. Oh, look at that. That is beautiful. Gorgeous. Max, you did a very good job on these.
Oh, thank you.
Let's get these cut.
Oh, that smells good here.
Yeah, it's going to be real good. And again, if you're interested in the history of Boursin cheese, search Food in 5 wherever you can find podcasts. And tomorrow I will be doing the brief history of Boursin cheese. Max, I'm going to shamelessly plug myself here for a minute. That sounded very bad. I did not mean it in any way like that. My podcast got voted 7th best of all chef podcasts in the world.
Wow, I didn't know that, Ben. Congratulations.
Thank you. Again, that's Food in 5, and you can find it wherever podcasts are found. Oh my God, this looks amazing. What happened to that plate, Max?
I don't know.
I hope you guys are excited because I'm very excited for this.
It looks exciting.
Yeah. Yes, it does. Another thing you can do if you wanted, for whatever reason, you could actually freeze the Boursin so that it might actually be kind of that perfect consistency when you cut into it. But you don't have to do that. That's just extra work. Here you go, sir.
Thank you.
I think that fork's got something on it. The fork does have something on it. This one's clean. Here you go. Nathan, my good man.
Oh, you're too kind, sir. Thank
Here you go. Suze. Michael.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. See, I told you. Yeah. Here you go. All right, let's give this a shot.
Smells so good.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
That Boursin, the flavor went all through the chicken.
Yep.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
Yeah, a little glass of wine would be really good with this. And wine is keto. No, I'm wrong. I was told by I can't remember if it was an osteopath or a naturopath. Osteopath. That wine was okay with keto diets.
Wine is fermented fruit, so
Yeah,
it's
I know that.
95% sugar.
That's a good point. Well, I'm not a doctor, man. So.
Neither am I. What I've been sharing about keto is just what I've learned. So I'm not claiming to be the professional.
This is really good.
So that's just zucchini and pesto? It's unreal.
Yeah, and the cherry tomato.
Nick, what are you talking about? So Nick is my brother-in-law. He was also my best man at my wedding.
Wow.
Yeah, guys. Definitely try this. All right. It's not going to be ready. The salami, the salami is definitely not going to be ready. But we'll take a look at it real quick anyway. I think there's one of them might be a little smaller. Is it firm at all?
That is.
Oh. Oh, that's not too bad actually.
Ooh.
So it could definitely be firmer, but you get the idea. So you can let this sit in the fridge for a few hours, and it'll get really nice and firm. And then again, if you're not keto, you could roll this in icing sugar, get that nice white kind of mold looking that you get from salami. Max, I'm sorry, I gotta try it.
Go for it.
That's like heaven. Not to rub it in, but that might be the best thing I've ever made, Max. Would you guys like to try it?
Not gonna say no.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Here you go. Okay, what do we got here?
Thank you.
Great job, Max. Max is the best. Look at all these people. Thanks for doing this keto show. You're very welcome, Helen. Thank you for watching. We didn't eat them all. There's still a few left here. But these are not going to last long, I promise. What else? So guys, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Thank you to Ashworks Cutting Boards, Atlantic Livestream, and T-North Organic Carbonated Iced Tea. Thank you to my guest Max. Thanks for coming, Max. Nice to see you.
Me too.
Show's live every Monday night at 6 p.m. I don't know what I'm doing next week or who my guest will be, but I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun. If you would like to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/Ben Kelly Cooks, and you can become a patron for as little as $1 a month or as much as $50 a month. And if you do become a patron, you get special bonuses. Go check it out. You'll see what you can get. Thank you again for watching. I feel like I usually say other things, but I can't think of them right now because I just want to eat. So I'll see you next week. Have a great week, everybody. Get me out of here, Mike.